What's going on, Legionnaires, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. If you guys are new to the channel, do me a favor and hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, and make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out. Now, I know I haven't posted any new videos in a couple of days now, and some of you saw, my daughter had her graduation from elementary school, so I've just been preoccupied with that, on top of AT&T being down the internet in the entire town. It's been absolutely ridiculous. But it's back online, and we're going to be diving into the issues that we did not cover this week. And I have, I think, about 6 different issues. 3 from DC Comics and 3 from Marvel Comics that we're going to be covering. And so today we're going to be starting with the DC Comics. In this video, we're going to be covering Strange Adventures, featuring Alanna Strange, issue number 10. Now, if you haven't been keeping up with this line, go ahead and check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It'll get you completely caught up. We're on issue number 10 of 12. Which means this issue is going to be coming, this series is going to be coming to a close relatively soon. And I covered this because Strange Adventures was supposed to be in the works. I don't know if the show is still going to be happening or not, but from my understanding, it's still going to be happening and may be airing at the end of the year. Now, this is written by Tom King. Pencils are Mitch Gerads and Evan Shaner, and inks and colors are the same. So with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright guys, so as we get into issue number 10, we pick up where the last one left off, where Alanna Strange's wife is reading a letter from Mr. Terrific. And this story, it really has been unique. It's been very different. It's been keeping me guessing the entire time. It starts off with Alanna Strange coming back from Rann, and to many, he's painted as a war hero. To others, he's painted as a war criminal. And so Mr. Terrific was tasked with investigating exactly what happened. Every single little detail. And so as we go through this comic, what's happening in the background, the artwork isn't necessarily that important to the storyline. What's really important is what is in this letter. What Mr. Terrific has wrote to Alanna Strange's wife. And this letter starts off by saying there's been lots of lies going around, but Mr. Terrific, he thinks that she deserves to have the truth. Mr. Terrific has had his suspicions for a while now, and he knew things were off, he just didn't know to what degree they were off. And right off the bat, he had assumed that it had something to do with what they did on Rann, the massacre of people, the death that they had to embrace every single day. And as this letter is getting read, we see Alanna Strange's wife taking a shower, getting ready for her day. But Mr. Terrific, he knew something was astray. There was too many inconsistencies in all of the stories and all of the information that he had been gathering on this. After the Justice League and Batman captured the Pykkts, they were convinced that the crimes that were against them were all true. And Mr. Terrific, he tried to tell them that there was a piece to the puzzle missing, but they weren't listening to it. They took his report and they ran with it. In their eyes, Alanna Strange, he violated the Justice League's code, and they needed to act on that before he killed anybody else. And so Mr. Terrific's report, it went out with the Justice League and all the evidence attached to it. And to a point, he really does understand what happened. The Pykkts, they hit them hard. And so in return, the people of Rann, they hit back. They hit back just as hard, and somewhere along the way, they lost their discipline, and they committed war crimes. And as Mr. Terrific sat at home and watched his TV and watched Alanna get on the news, thinking that she is going to deny these war crimes, in fact, she embraces them. She presented it as evidence that her and Adam were the Pykkts' greatest enemy of all time. And the way that she spoke up there, it reminded Mr. Terrific of his wife. That strength, that dedication to your partner, the unwavering loyalty, and the ability to take these situations and find some kind of good in them, find some kind of hope. It kind of reminds him of how much he missed his wife fighting for him. And that's when Mr. Terrific finally pieced it together that Alanna Strange, he knew everything about him. This whole tale, this whole story, he just knew that it was bullshit. He knew it was complete garbage. Now this whole time, we've been seeing her get ready. She took a shower, she got dressed, she threw on a jetpack, and she heads off. It looks like she's going to some kind of meeting, some kind of important meeting in the way that she's dressed herself. But up to this point, she has already read this letter in its entirety. And this is when we're taken to Rann, and we see Adam Strange just blasting away. They are right in the middle of a battle, and they are having no remorse. This is absolute bloodshed. And we see these two forces clashing with one another, but alas, this battle comes to an end. And we see Adam Strange and his forces victorious. And in their victory, they take all of the POWs, they drop them to their knees, and one by one, Adam Strange starts executing every single one of them. And this is where we pick back up with more of the letter. And Mr. Terrific lets us know, of the consistencies that he found, three of them stand out in particular. And the first issue being with the war itself. Mr. Terrific, he studied every single invasion the Pykkts had ever done. They're a civilization that has destroyed literally hundreds of thousands of planets. And this isn't some small feat. So Mr. Terrific, he finds it difficult to understand how Rann, with their forces, with Adam Strange, were able to defeat an empire that literally lives off of conquering other planets. And so he reviewed every single campaign, from their first landing to their final fall. He sees them making mistake after mistake. Not huge blunderous mistakes, but small breaks in their normal competence. Errors that they have never made before, not a single time. And here we find them doing it over and over again. And he uses an example because they took Adam Strange. They had him prisoner. And Adam Strange, up to this point, he had dealt some of their greatest losses in the history of the Empire. And so by all accounts, they should have killed him right then and there. But instead, Adam Strange says that he was tortured and then he was let go. And so Mr. Terrific, he comes to the conclusion, if he's looking at it objectively, he can only reach one conclusion. That conclusion being that the Pykkts, they lost this war on purpose. And as we're reading through this letter, we see Adam Strange's wife, she's meeting with the President of the United States. She's meeting with the president, getting ready to prepare a speech, because she is about to address the entire nation. And this is when we're taken back to Rann. Now, on Rann, Adam Strange he's working to get underwater. He's diving to find a lost civilization, or about to be lost. He's looking for the sea folk, because Adam Strange believes that they need them in this fight against the Pykkts, that there's no other way that they're going to be able to end up victorious in the end. And Adam Strange, he's able to find this place. Not only is he able to find it, but he's able to save them. And in saving them, he makes a deal with the Emperor to fight against the Pykkts as a united front. Now, taking us back to Earth, Adam Strange's wife, not only did she do a speech with the president, but she's also getting on the news and doing a bunch of other speeches. But we continue on with Mr. Terrific's letter, and we start with the second inconsistency that Mr. Terrific found in all of this. And that is the problem of the massacre in Phoenix, Arizona. And Mr. Terrific lets us know, outside of her very passionate speech to Congress, he thinks it's absurd to say that Rann was more prepared for war than Earth is. The Earth has been center of many universal, multiversal threats, and they have always survived every single one of these. And all in the entire history of Rann, there is nothing even comparable to what Earth has had to endure. But somehow they're faring quite a bit worse in this war than Rann did. And in fact, they're headed towards a catastrophic loss. And to understand how they got to this point, he focused on Phoenix, Arizona. He reviewed Batman's battle plans and looked at every single angle. People say that Batman could beat any being in the universe if he had time to plan. And in this particular situation, he had plenty of time to prepare for what was coming. And so the question arises, how did the Pykkts outmaneuver Batman? How did they find the gap in his defenses? And Mr. Terrific, he looked and he rechecked over and over again, and he found absolutely nothing. There was absolutely no vulnerability in Batman's setup. The Pykkts didn't beat Batman. By any logic that he could see, they couldn't have known that the gap would even be there and would be open long enough for them to exploit it. They should have won that battle without any hesitation. They should be winning this war by all accounts. And yet somehow they are on the brink of losing this entirely. And this is what will bring us to the third inconsistency. Something that he noticed at the beginning of all of this. Why he even first started investigating them in the first place. Because in his book, in Alanna Strange's book about his time on Rann, the book called Strange Adventures, his dedication reads, "For my daughter, whom I lost in the war, my life spent with grief." And the last part is Psalm 31 from the King James translation. And what confuses Mr. Terrific about this is that he knows that passage. And it's not about grief or loss. It's not even about death. And many people may not know that, but Alanna Strange, he's a renowned archaeologist. Not only is he a historical archaeologist, he worked on the historical Bible. So if anybody were to know the ins and outs of the Bible, it would be Alanna Strange. And so him using this verse from the Bible was very intentional, because Psalms 31, it's about being hurt by your enemies, being ashamed of what they made you into. And it goes, "Have mercy upon me, O Lord, for I am in trouble. Mine eye is consumed with grief, yea, my soul and my belly, for my life is spent with grief. And my years with sighing, my strength faileth because of my inequality, and my bones are consumed. I was a reproach among all of my enemies, but especially among my neighbors. And a fear to mine acquaintance, they that did see me without fled from me. I am forgotten as a dead man out of mind. I am like a broken vessel, for I have heard the slander of many. Fear was on every side. While they took counsel together against me, they devised to take away my life." And Mr. Terrific knew when he read this, he knew it was because he actually felt the death of a child. This wasn't a man that was grieving or mourning. This was a man wrecked by guilt. This beginning, this quotation, it's not for them. It's for someone else who might read this someday. It's an explanation of what he's done. An explanation for his daughter. And so that gives us 3 inconsistencies. And so with all of this information, he still didn't understand. He didn't understand until her speech. After hearing that speech and understanding that she didn't have anything to do with this, he knew that Alanna Strange had made a deal with the Pykkts. In exchange of their defeat on Rann, he agreed to give them Earth. To ensure Adam keeps this bargain, the Pykkts took his daughter as collateral. To cover this exchange, Adam faked her death. Adam was then given the freedom to commit crimes against their soldiers, so that any doubt in Adam's loyalty would be counterbalanced by how seemingly endless his hatred was. The worse he acted, the more he killed, the less he would ever be suspected of working with the enemy. That's why he asked to be investigated. Why it was so easy to find the evidence that the Justice League has now been reporting on. Why he put his wife on the television saying that Alanna Strange is the only man that can save them. Adam wanted them to find what he didn't hide, so that they would completely miss everything that he did. And so Adam lied. He lied to everybody. He lied to Rann. He lied to Earth. But most importantly, he lied to his wife. And this is where we see Alanna Strange finally arriving home after his wife has done out and did everything that she's done as a quote-unquote good wife would in this situation. You know, she's been out there having his back every single step of the way. And little did she know, Alanna Strange has been lying to her the entire time. Her daughter isn't actually dead. Her anger, her fear, her ferocity for the Pykkts, it was all placed because her daughter had died. That her daughter had been killed in the war, and so she was going to never stop until they were all dead. But now she is finding out that her daughter is actually alive. Not only is her daughter alive, but Alanna Strange made a deal with the enemy to give them Earth and gave the daughter up as collateral. Like, holy crap. I did not see this coming. This has been absolutely freaking phenomenal. But yeah, that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. You know, like I said, what was happening in the background wasn't as important as what was written in that letter. That's what this issue was really about. It was about Mr. Terrific coming forward and telling Adam Strange's wife that Adam Strange has been lying to you. He's been lying to you ever since Rann. Your daughter is still alive, and the only reason they're here on Earth is because your husband gave Earth up as collateral and is giving away battle plans that Batman and the others have created, causing them to have catastrophic losses. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you have not yet, do me a favor, hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you don't miss any of the awesome content we have coming out, and until the next breakdown.